I didn't get joy in anything in life. Everything was kind of like numb, gray. Could probably call it depression. And also like just living, I was like questioning what's the point. Like I wasn't actually like suicidal, but life didn't really matter. Even still today, like some days are really horrible, some days are okay. Not too many days are actually like great. So it's like it's affected a lot in life overall. There is no other way. Like I either be honest and then I can have a chance to come back, and at the same time maybe help some other people.
Hi everyone. This episode is a very special one for me. I'm incredibly grateful to Emil for joining us on Tennis Insider Club and opening up about his journey. His story is a powerful reminder that it's okay not to be okay, and that speaking up is a sign of strength, not weakness. If you think someone may benefit from hearing Emil's experience, please don't hesitate to share this episode with them. And if you subscribe to our channel, you will be helping us reach even more people who need to hear stories like this. Emil, thank you so much for being with us today. First question, how did you start with tennis?
So that was basically a coincidence. I have really no athletes in the family. I was playing badminton with my mom in this like a local sports hall. Then my first coach came to ask if I guess he saw that I had a eye for the ball or whatever, and he came to ask, and then I was 5 years old, and then yeah, that's where it started. I right away liked it. I tried some other sports, but I never really liked the team sports. I guess I like to be alone.
What about ski?
I did actually used to ski quite a bit, but last time was like more than 10 years ago. And I thought maybe too risky.
Yeah, fair enough. So you were showing some early like talent, no? I guess if already coach started you.
Yeah, it was kind of always just natural, quite easy. Just like hitting the ball was quite easy for me, and I was like every sport that has a ball, I liked it, and I was like kind of natural. So I did a lot of sports when I was young.
Cool.
And being from Finland, did you have to move out of the country quite early to grow a bit your tennis?
So actually, I never really moved out. So the same coach, he started to take us to, he had used to live in Germany. So I think I was like around 10 years old that first time we went to play some tournaments in Germany, which was very, very important because it's not, like you said, it's a small country, not a lot of competition. So it's very difficult to, in such a small sport to improve. So that was, I think, one of the biggest things when I was young, that he was able to take us to tournaments outside of Finland. Yeah.
Nice. And how was like that transition from playing just for fun as a kid and being good to start like playing abroad, to start to do some junior tournaments?
So there is a video of me in the it was like the sports news when I was like 9 or 10, and I'm already there saying that I want to be a top 10 player. So I have no memories of this time, but for some reason it stuck there. And I was always just playing with this softball, imitating like Roger and Rafa, and it was just playing for me. I didn't really, I practiced a lot, but I never felt like it was. But then basically I just I wasn't that good like 14, 15, 16, like I also had some troubles with just how much I want to play and what I want to do. But then I made the final decision basically the last year of juniors. That's where...
Now you wanted to turn like pro and go all in.
Yeah.
So until then you were having kind of a normal life, going to school
and
stuff?
I did go to school normally. High school, I stopped halfway.
Okay.
So...
Well, but that's quite late already.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it normal because I practiced a lot and I basically didn't have anything. I had some other things, but not too many.
How was the first beginning after junior, starting the pro tournament and the many travels and everything?
And they're losing a lot, I guess.
Yes. Yes. No, the last year of juniors was already very good. I finished, I was 4th in the ranking. I won the Masters, the end of the year Masters. I had 2 match points in the semifinals in US Open against Yibing Wu, and he won the tournament. But then it was 7-6 at the third I lost, and then I beat him in the final of the Masters in China, 7-6 in the third. So that was like, yeah, that's where I knew that I wanna, and it was kind of like started to roll. And then after that, it went very fast. Like the next year, I won a couple of futures, and then the following year, I won already 4 challengers in like the same calendar year. So it kind of like I went through all the steps because I mean we don't have tournaments, I don't get any wild cards or anything, so I had to go through the steps, but it went in the end very fast for me.
Ever landed in a new country and realized you have no internet? Yep, we've all been there. No maps, no messages, no nothing. But with Saily, that's a thing of the past. Saily is the new eSIM app from the creators of NordVPN, and it keeps you connected in over 190 countries. No physical SIM cards, no sketchy kiosk, no roaming fees. Just download the app once, pick your plan, and boom, instant mobile data wherever you go. Whether you're hopping around Europe, watching tennis tournaments, chilling in Bali, or exploring South America, Saily's got you covered with affordable, global, and regional plans. Get an exclusive 15% discount on your first Saily data plans using code TennisInsider at checkout. Download Saily app or go to saily.com/tennisinsider to benefit from the exclusive offer. That's saily.com/tennisinsider.
And it was still a game?
I would say at that point, yeah, at least in the beginning of like challengers, yes. Of course you don't have really that, it's like a dream and whatever, but you don't really have that much expectations. But then after 1-2 years, then you get the first year at the tour. That's also exciting. But then after that, I kind of turned not to be a game anymore. Yeah.
And from being from Finland, was it a lot of media expectation or?
Well, the first time I experienced was, of course, a little bit the year of juniors, the last year, but then I beat TM in the Davis Cup at home. So that was like a big, like a boom. And then I won a challenger the next week, and that was kind of where it all started. So then I just slowly started to get used to it. But honestly, I didn't spend much time at home. Like I was always going somewhere, so I wasn't in touch. Basically, I just did some things for the sponsors and whatever. And Davis Cups, we had quite a few at home, but otherwise, I didn't really.
What was that moment where you start to have like some big wins that maybe you start to put some pressure on delivering on a weekly basis, where you stop enjoying and like that pressure starts to like kick in?
Yeah, I mean, everything is so new. I mean, you get the first win on tour, you make the first quarters, then you crack the top 100, then you win the first Grand Slam match. All these steps, it kind of like you have always the same next. But then I made top 50. Maybe after that, it was like kind of, then you need to stay there, and then you need and I wasn't maybe able to get the next step from there. And I honestly, I don't know if I personally even like wanted it or I wasn't ready for it. I don't know, but I would say there it kind of like changed the course.
Yeah, it's true. Like sometimes it feels, especially from the outside, maybe that competitive sports or like pro athletes, like every time it's more and more and more.
Yeah.
You cannot like settle and say, look, I'm fine at 50 or 40 or whatever, and I just want to enjoy my life here. I want to do what it takes to stay in this life, but I'm happy not having more.
Yeah, but honestly, I would like that perspective to change a little bit, because if you're top 60, if you're top 100, I mean, that's an amazing, like
my dream.
why somebody could not be happy just to be 86 in the world.
Yes.
I mean, for me, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're happy inside, you're happy with your life, why not?
We did an episode with Sloane Stevens.
Yeah.
And she won the US Open and she could be as good as she wants. And she said, like, I don't want to be number one in the world. I have a lot of respect. At that moment was Iga number one. But she was like, I don't want that job.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Like, first of all, everything it takes to be there.
Exactly.
And second, like all the consequences, like giving up, like some time with family, with friends, like maybe not practicing like crazy.
Yeah.
And like from the outside, when people hear her, it's like, what is wrong with her? No,
exactly.
It's like, well, it takes a lot, so maybe it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to then endure the pressure that comes from outside if you're not. Like if you say out loud, I don't want to be there, like then all the question starts to, and it doesn't stop like there until you stop, there is going to be those questions. So you need to be ready for them if that's your path. But again, I would say there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, even from teams, I guess it's complicated, no? Because coaches, they need wins, they want to keep growing their career.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them maybe to accept that, okay, like this week, maybe I want to push, I want to take like a week off.
But then you need to find the right person that can
Has it been easy for you to like find good people?
Well, I was 10 years with we split last summer after Wimbledon. So we went through everything together, all the highs and the lows. I spent more time with him than anybody else in the world. And he's from Italy, very different kind of culture. So very difficult people, but I guess there was something that fitted. But yeah, 10 years is a long time, especially when you're growing like from 15 to 20. I mean, they're kind of like delicate years. So we did many amazing things. And then, last year we finished. But yeah, it just at some point, like you asked before, my path took I don't know if it hit the wall or whatever, but then for a couple of years it was tough for me, the end. Yeah.
And can you walk us through a bit your toughest moment on court?
Yeah.
And what did you feel on?
So they started, it was like 4.5 years ago in Miami. That's yeah. That's the first time I had a panic attack, and that was I woke up already like feeling like I cannot breathe. It was like, but in the end, there was again another match. You feel nervous, whatever. So I didn't really pay attention to it. We arrived at the courts. I didn't say a word on the way there. I was like completely like I don't know what's happening. We got there. Another 30 minutes go by. I can like barely speak. I was able to tell my coach that like something is totally wrong. Like I cannot be here, and it's very tough to show the emotions also in that kind of environment because you don't. I mean, the guy you're playing might be there, and if he wanted to cry, I couldn't breathe. Won the match, and then we kind of, we talked about it, but not that much, and just kept going. So, looking back, there could have been more to be done at that point because those things don't come from nothing. There's something that is bothering you, and but that's easy to say now. But then after, I got like maybe 1 or 2 per year, like this kind of episodes, so not too many. But same thing looking back, it was like going the wrong way. Like I was just being more. I started to struggle more with the injuries, and then some like I would say lighter burnout that we took some time off, and that's how it went. Like I had one like pretty clean year on tour that I didn't really skip anything, and I played way too much, like 30 something tournaments. But that's the only year that I was actually like steady. But then the rest has been up and down because either an injury or something mental, and that already tells you that there was something maybe that wasn't right. And then last year in Paris, then it got like worse, like a lot. So same things. Then it started affecting my personal life also. I wasn't like sleeping well. I was having nightmares. Just going to practice was like a very, very big burden. Like I was just pushing through like the motion. I was like acting like a robot, just go on court, do what you can and get out. And I didn't want to be like at the tournament site or whatever really at all. And then again, we took some time off, tried a grass court tournament, got a panic attack on court, went to Wimby. Somehow, I don't know how, made it to the third round. Best Grand Slam result ever. I faced 2 match points already the first round. Won that one, beat Stefanos, and then in the third round, I played against Mpeci Perikar, and there I had a panic attack in the match. Don't really have a memory for 2 sets. And that's like the most absurd feeling ever. Wimbledon, one of the most prestigious tournaments ever. You've been looking for the tournament for your whole life. And then you just want to run out and of the court and go somewhere else. or be somebody else. So that's in a nutshell. It's 4.5 years to put in 3 minutes, but yeah, that's how it went.
It's like obviously everyone's story is different, but for especially last year, like the first part of the year and until I took a break, like the feeling of, you know, when you're back home and it's relaxed, you're like, okay, I want to go back to practice. I'm looking forward for the next tournament, especially the slam. You're like, no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then more the time to go to the tournament or the tournament to start, you're like, can we leave now? It's like, like, actually, I don't want to play it, you know,
exactly,
like, even if it was like when I was a little girl, for me it was a dream, obviously. And then the tournament arrived and like, you know what? It's okay, I can just leave now.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst feeling because you don't understand. You thought you were like excited and like motivated, and then you arrive there and you're like, actually, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Plus, you have the team, and at least for me, it was like I kind of learned a way to succeed, to get the wins and everything, and that was maybe not the healthiest way because I kind of like pushed what I actually felt inside. I never was able to express them well enough. I didn't speak up loud enough, so I think that's where it went wrong for me. So I was just like I forgot some, like I just didn't like notice them. I just pushed them away until they kind of got me back, and it was like enough.
But sometimes it's not easy because, like you say, you got the wins, you know, and you got like played a bit by the fact you got the wins, and you're like, well, maybe, you know, it was just a bit of stress, and for some reason, you know, like I get the win, I can play.
Yeah.
And you cannot really see it, like.
Yeah, but then once you get them enough, then you should, like when if there is more times that you actually feel like this that you just described, then you should think, okay, maybe you should look at it maybe a little different way. But it's, the pressure you put on yourself, at least for me, was like huge. You want to succeed. That's you just need the wins, and I was like combined with I was together with the wins. Like my person, like me as a person, was as much as the results on court. So that was also an issue in the end. So if I lost, I felt like I was a bad person, and if I won a lot, then I was a better person. So that's something I would teach young kids or a young me, that you need to separate them a little bit, because otherwise it gets very, very rough.
Yeah, I still remember at the beginning, sometimes like when she was losing, she was like, "Do you still love me?"
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, you know, like of course I do. You know, like I'm not associating your worth as a human, but it's true. Like, and maybe that's also in a way what makes you a great player, no? That you're so obsessed about it.
Of course, yeah.
And as you make it everything about it, maybe that's what helps you push that match. Yeah, fuck it, it's not worth it. Like,
no.
If you're suffering as me, I was like, I don't care, you know, like if you're not happy, don't play.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's true that maybe like everyone, especially if they're not like fully aware of what's going on inside you, they're like pushing you in the wrong direction. Because like, you should be lucky to be here. You have a dream job. Why are you complaining? You make money. It's like, yeah, but like if there's something off.
Yeah, and if you're not like, those things don't matter if you're not like whole inside of you. Like it doesn't, I think especially nowadays in the world we live in, it's very, very easy to get kind of lost in this world, that once you get this, then you will think that you're happy, but that's not the case. Like, you know, it doesn't matter where you are, what you have, but if you're just happy inside, then that's everything that matters.
And during those 4 years, did you work with a mental therapist, psychologist?
Yeah, first time I was already like only 15, 16, but of course it was different things. But now for a year, I've been going to once or twice a week for every week. Yeah. And it's, only now I start to realize some, like, I will call them core issues and it's been a year. So it's a very long, very, very rough process to actually like dig deep into your core and find the troubles that you're going. But I mean, it's worth it, because for me, it was not like the toughest period came after I took the break. So for a little bit, it was like okay, like I didn't have to play anymore. I didn't have to practice. but then started like the worst period actually. So I was very, very lost. Of course, it was maybe the wrong thing to jump in from 8 years of every week having some like the schedule is there, and suddenly I didn't have anything. I didn't really have any hobbies or anything else.
Yeah, too much free time to overthink.
Yeah. But at the same time, I didn't. Honestly speaking, I didn't get joy in anything in life. Like everything was kind of like numb, gray. Could probably call it depression if you ask for a professional, but and also like just living, I was like questioning what's the point. Like I wasn't actually like suicidal, but life didn't really matter.
Yeah, you didn't find a meaning to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes as an athlete, especially in the younger time of your career, like you're fully tennis and fully your sport, and it's true that you put on the side hobbies or like other passion or what you want to do next.
Yeah, or at the same time, because I would say that's very, very important and something I didn't do. But you need to do something else. Like you need to have some other interests so you can get out from the tennis life, at least sometimes.
Yeah, when we started the podcast, like when we started dating at the beginning, she was like a bit with this mindset, if everything needs to be about tennis. Like sometimes we're like, hey, let's go for a little walk. You don't play today. It's like, no, I'm gonna lose explosivity. You know, like I need to. And me, I was like, I cannot talk about tennis. I'm not a tennis pro or an athlete, but I come from business, and I would say it helps to have this balance and stuff. No, and I was like, okay, we have to start a podcast, and we need to bring the best coaches. And actually, you know, we had Darren Cahill, Brad Gilbert, Ivan Ljubicic, and everyone says you have to find balance. You have to find joy in your life. Because otherwise, like, this is a hard life and it takes a lot. So you're going to crash. But it's true that then from the outsiders or people who don't know that much, they always say like, oh, you have to make it everything about it. No? So it's hard to not find.
No, but I was the same. Exactly. Like anything I did, it didn't matter what it was, like eating, sleeping, seeing some friends, even if the tournament was far away, but I was always just looking for like, how is this going to affect tomorrow's practice or whatever, or today's practice? Like I didn't do anything in life that without thinking how it's going to affect.
Yeah, and like it's true that, for example, like last year when I wanted to take a break and everything, I was not sure to coming back. I was like, well, if I stop, what do I do with my life? It's like, in a way, professionally, at one point, like you're still super young, so you need to do something, especially like being tennis player or an athlete is like you're being active, you know, like your day is full of things. So after you're just like here in the sofa and you're like, well.
Yeah, and at least for me it was that one, and then who am I if I'm not a tennis player? Because like everybody basically has seen me, like that guy is the tennis player. So let's say I stop. So this idea, I struggle a lot, like especially last year, I couldn't see like how it, like, of course I'm going to come back at some point because what else is there? But luckily now I've found some other interests and, but yeah, it's, again, we come back to it that you need to separate a little bit, that you cannot be the same, like the tennis and you, it's otherwise.
Yeah, and probably like surround yourself also with like non-tennis people, no? Like have some like good friends or like a relationship or whatever, no? That like keeps you back, gets you back to normal life. So you can switch on and off that professional mood, no?
Did I touch? I don't know if I touched the.
It's okay. It's not something I would have never done before.
Most of our episodes are like shaking nonstop.
And was it something like you say you were always like careful of fully focused on tennis? Was it something coming only from you, or your team also was?
It was also from learned from the team. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess in the end it's you there, but of course you learn it from something. Like none of this. I think it's difficult to like. Just grow, like you will suddenly wake up and you have this you always like learn some little things, and then it's like a puzzle, and then in your head you think this is the right way, and then you believe it.
And every time it works, it's like a reinforcement. Wow, this is thanks to like not doing anything else the day before, otherwise I would have lost
then
that
it
match.
Worked, so you need to you think you need to try it again and again and again, but then
And when you took your break, you know it was maybe only a break, or you know you were going to come back?
Last year I knew that I was going to come back for sure, and now I will say I should have taken maybe a little bit more time, but like it was a good and bad thing. I would say that I came back just to practice. I started practicing again like in December.
You stop in
after Washington. So
the Washington.
yeah, so it was like 4.5 months I didn't touch the racket, not even once.
Were you missing it or no?
No,
Never.
No.
So you come back because you feel it's what you have to do. Kind of.
Yeah, and I started like, why I said it was good because I started to get the rhythm just in the normal life again. Like at least I had something to do. I mean, I played a lot of paddle and I did some other things like when I didn't play tennis, but there was something to look forward to when I started practicing again. Even if it wasn't fun, but at least there was like you need to wake up, you need to go to practice, and
you give a meaning to your life.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, at that point, I could stop the practice also if I didn't want to practice, which was something I could have never done before. Of course, with the new team, they knew where I was. I felt like it was much easier, and we started from a very like open book. Like I told them everything, and that wasn't the case previously. So I felt it was much easier. But then also I feel like I wasn't really ready because I didn't fix. I took the time off. I was going weekly to the psychologist, but I felt, at least now I can feel that I wasn't ready, like not even close.
Yeah, it's not 3 months, like these problems, they don't get fixed in like 3 months, unfortunately.
No chance. Way too much information. I feel like at least now I go through it. It's like this therapy that you go, basically you treat traumas. And this person, she said that it's like PTSD, pretty much. They have like it's trauma-based. So that's what we're fixing. I also felt like I was never enough. So that's something. It didn't matter what I did, but I also always felt that I wasn't enough.
The thing is, like, when your personality is like so much linked to your results, is like after in your day-to-day life, you're always like very affected by it, and you're like,
and it will never be enough, because if you win one slam, it will be the proof that you need to win the second one. If you win 2, it's like, oh, you're special, so I need to win 10. Like,
no,
so
but
like,
if you think
even if you're super successful, that's not the way to measure like
no,
yourself
because
as a human.
in that way, there's always somebody that is doing better. So you cannot, it never stops. Like if you're trying to find that happiness from there, I mean, it never ends.
So when you were mentioning, like in November, you start to play again.
Yeah.
But I guess like there's still a lot of things still going in automatic, no? And like you go back to practice, and even if like your new coach, like he's really helping and he's like aware of your situation for you, and we saw it a lot with you, like it's still very easy to go back to the old route, and like a mistake, I'm a piece of shit, and so I think is that still work in progress?
It is. That one has not like changed really at all. So I had one match that I was actually enjoying playing tennis, just purely tennis. Yes, this year. Okay. It was against Herbert in Cherbourg. That was the only match. I didn't think about the result or anything else. I was just happy. He was playing like unreal tennis, like lights out. I was just wow, like okay, that's incredible. But other than that, it's been like very shit, to be honest. Like we went to Korea, and for me, we arrived to the tournament side the first time. I saw the tournament signs, and that's where I feel like click, and I'm like suddenly somewhere else, and I cannot like turn it anymore. Practice was done. We didn't even go on court, but it's like the panic starts to rise only from seeing the tournament sign. So that's how like deep it is.
Yeah, me, I can relate so much, because like sometimes, we're like coming from home in a happy mood, and sometimes it was like even being in the tournament hotel, and you could see her face switching.
Yes,
it's like fuck, like. And from the outside, it's very hard, because like, you don't know what to do. Well, you can't do much, right? And especially when you don't know like what's the source of the issue, right? And
so it was funny, because actually the practice weeks, most of them were actually pretty good. Like I felt like I had quite a bit of energy. I was like, even on court, it was okay. But as soon as you go into the tournament, it's like you have 10% of the energy like left, like even if you didn't do anything, but like so weak, like you feel like you just cannot do it.
And are you always able to like realize when you go to that mode, or sometimes someone from the outside has to help you?
Nowadays, yes, I can recognize it, but I cannot. Few times I've been able to, even on court, I've been able to like kind of switch it, but it's like the energy is like the big issue, because that one I can't get back. Yeah, I get back, but it happens also outside. Like I might go to a dinner, maybe there's a lot of people around, something comes to my mind, and then again, like even if somebody is talking to me, I can't even hear them.
Yeah.
And then now we talked about it with my team, and they were asking like, okay, should we tell you when this happens? And because they were asking if I realize it, and I do, but I feel sometimes there's nothing I can do in the moment. I can like leave from the restaurant.
Yeah.
That helps, and do something else. But if I still want to be there, it takes time. Like it could take like 30 minutes, and then slowly I start.
Yeah.
I have learned many ways to, try to help this process, and it is much better now. But still, it takes a lot of time, and it's weekly, even daily, can go like very, very up and down.
Yeah, I mean, growth is not linear.
Yeah.
No, like to go like this doesn't mean like when you zoom in on it's like it's still like this. So you have to like take time, I guess, and take it one day at a time. How important it's been for you to like be open about it, like with your team, with your like environment, to say, hey, like I have this issue, so
Yes, super important. So it started like 1 year ago. It was only my team. Then I told, my ex-girlfriend knew, my family. I told them after a couple of months, but those were the only. Then I told a closest friend, and he was like the biggest help, I would say, because he is an ice hockey player. He used to have the same kind of issues, and he was alone on the other side of the world. And when we're talking, then you realize that you're not like even the scariest thoughts, but you realize that, okay, I'm not the only one, so it's not. Then suddenly it's not as scary anymore. And then this thought just started to rise. Like, I was thinking about it already last year, if I should like speak, just be honest about everything. But I guess I just wasn't ready. And then this year, the thought, it was just always in the back of my head. And then a couple months back, I made the decision that I kind of like, fuck it, there's no other way. Like I either be honest, and then I can have a chance to come back, and at the same time maybe help some other people. And that's why I also jumped into a project. So I'm also businessman now. I started like a co-founder in a startup that we're building an app to help fellow athletes to learn more about themselves, help them maximize their everything in terms of life.
Their well-being.
I can't. It's still in the making, so I can't talk everything, but it's going to be very interesting, because I tried it personally. It's it's scary good, because it's based on AI, and it's like you have a personal coach in your pocket that you can, anytime you want, you can ask something, and all the answers are based in you as a person. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, cannot wait for that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But I think it's like after the timing is always your own, but like when athletes have been able to like open up about their toughest moment, in my experience, for me, it's like also my healing process is like to talk about it. Like first you are able to like share words, also the outside understand you better, because sometimes it's true, like you don't really know how to act with someone because you don't know what happened to him, or like why is he like this. Maybe he's close because it's his personality, or maybe you feel like this person is arrogant, but at the end it's just because to protect themselves because they suffer so much. And being honest at the end, like you can inspire so much and receive the love of others also.
Exactly. And that's, I think very important to remember that everybody is going through something. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, where you're from, everybody, like you can't judge somebody, just, you know. So we all have our battles. So that was the other reason too why I did it, just to try to bring awareness if I can help somebody, and that actually the responses have been like so positive. Like I always thought like social media overall was like a very toxic place to be for me, especially now that I was coming back, because after the same tournament in Korea, after the first match, it was like 200 messages that kill yourself or whatever.
Yes.
And it was fine before, but now that you actually had these thoughts yourself, like 6 months ago, then it hits different. So it's you're just more vulnerable. So but now after I did these videos and I was talking about it, then I still get like tens of messages a day that people are like super supportive. They're telling their own stories, and it's suddenly social media is like a good place to be, because you can just get quite a bit of energy, because you're not it's just not you anymore, but it's you're helping others. So it for me personally, it gives the most joy at the moment in terms of life, because it's
a great purpose at the end, no? Like if sometimes what you're lacking in life is meaning, no? Like to help others, it's the greatest like way of living, no?
Yeah.
So
that's why because I'm not playing at the moment. I'm practicing a little bit, but now I was not gonna take a break if I didn't have anything else. But now I have this project with the other guys that in the background I have every day something to do for it. So that's why I was able to do this decision, because go back for like next year, last year, and do the same again, I will never do it. You need to have some other interest in life.
Yeah, for sure.
You learn that you don't want to be only a tennis player. You're much
Exactly,
more than
yes. So I guess even in the darkest moments, there was something that like I learned something. So that's a way. It's tough to find anything positive from those periods, because I would not wish these things for my worst enemy. But I guess if you look like closely enough, you can find something positive even from that time.
And helping others probably also can give you like purpose to that pain, no? Like instead of just looking back and saying, shit, why did I have to go through all this stuff, no? Like giving purpose to it, and like knowing that maybe like young kids can like surround themselves with better people, ask for help whenever the time comes, no?
Exactly.
It can be a way to say like, hey, look, it was not nice, but I gave it a purpose, and
those are exactly the things that we're trying to work in the app to help people find the answers to for the people around. And so it's which is great.
What advice would you give like to young or not that young people that like maybe they're like starting to have those early signs, no? Like one moment where like everything's one panic attack or something. What advice would you give them?
So the first thing that is what we already talked about, that you need to kind of separate. Need to have some, especially if you have this kind of signs, find some other interest in life to balance. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be, you can play violin or whatever. It just doesn't make any difference, but you need something else. I will just listen a lot to yourself. Don't take too many, depends what age you are, but don't take too many. You can ask, you can listen, but then in the end, it should be you that make the decisions. Because otherwise, if you're just following, like I did, there's a robot doing things, so then it's gonna crash at some point.
You're thinking, in a way, like professional athletes, like you've been like so talented since very early on, right? So you've been very defined by it, and like everyone or a lot of people know, like they've been pushing and focusing on just one thing, which is like in your case, on your like play tennis, and kind of your environment, they forget to like help you grow as a human, to like know yourself, know who you are, like what's your personality, or like your hobbies, what your interests, no? And that like maybe you get to 19, 20 and you're excellent at one thing, but like maybe your brain is not fully developed, you don't like, and you're kind of still like a lost kid, kind of, no?
I think we should hire you, because that's another thing that is going to be in the, it's one of the key factors in the app, because it's so easy, especially nowadays, because people start so early, like focusing on just one sport. And for me, I think it's very, very important to do other sports also, just to grow as an athlete, not only, because you see what the kids do nowadays. It's only tennis or football, whatever. So they don't grow as like if you look at the athlete as a whole, they don't build all the necessary things. And then there's the human side, which is the most important. Because then I believe if you just try to build as strong as possible, like be as a human, as an athlete, then the third could be that you specify in one sport. And then you can be very strong, because then it doesn't matter if you stop playing this sport, but then you have all the other assets in your back pocket. So I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, like, it's like Jenny Bouchard, who had success super young, said she was not able to cope with it.
Yeah.
And she was not ready.
Paula
also. And on the other side, we had Jess Pegula, who had success later. She was more struggling, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, at the end, when success come, she knew who she was. She just like had other hobbies, friends from school, etc. And she was able to like cope with it way better.
Yeah.
And at the end, also, like the best coach, like Darren say, or like Wim Fissett say, it's like a kid has to play other sports. They cannot do only tennis, They have to work on coordination, they have to have friends, they have to be social. And it's like, doesn't matter if they play like 2 or 5 hours at 10 years old, it's not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything. But yeah, just to answer your question, it's like you have first the human, then you have the athlete, and then the results might come later. And also, I think it's super important to have somebody in your life to talk to as openly as possible. It doesn't have to be a professional, like a psychologist or whatever. It's just you need somebody in your life that you can be totally honest. Doesn't matter what it is. So I think that's super important.
Yeah, holding it for yourself, it's going to end up becoming a bomb, in your brain. Yeah. But yeah, it's like from the outside, I think like that's one of the things that like strikes you more like from tennis, is like how good people are at tennis and how little they know who they are, kind of, like
exactly,
how. And it's like crazy, because at the end, if you think about it, like knowing who you are, developing your personality, it's very important for everyone, but especially for someone who at 19 is going to be in the spotlight, right? Because like me at 19, I could go partying and like nobody with social media was judging me. There were like no media articles, but I had all the time I needed to like grow and mature on my own terms. But athletes, you don't have that kind of like, like at 19, you're supposed to be an adult, know who you are.
And even more so on the women's side, because so many of you are like so good at so young, they get the success that it can be very tricky at like 14, 15. And then, if you finish your career at 28, what are you going to do?
It's one of the things I tried to push her, like, hey, let's launch a podcast, like I told her, join the WTA board, players council if you can. Like, you have to start learning things, because even if at the end you learn a lot of things and you want to play tennis, at least it will be because freely you want to play tennis, not because you're scared of what's after, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
but there are so many that I think are continuing just because they will not know what to do after. It's like it's so scary inside to face the truth that there is going to be the after.
Yeah, me the feeling I have coming from like a more traditional background of like school till late, university and blah, blah, is like that it's like not really professionalized, or like all the help all these kids are having, that, there's like tennis coaches, but like, but there should be also like a good person guiding them, like as a human being, kind of, no?
Yeah.
It's like not because you're talented on one thing, you have to forget about all the others.
Yeah.
And being well-rounded, it's like fucking essential.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys watched the documentary about Marty Fish?
Yeah.
So that's like
so good.
It was like looking at myself in the, but I think even that thing, like what the USTA did, that they brought like, what was it, 8 best players from the country together, and then they kind of, it's like almost like a prison. I think that's very, very dangerous.
You should not do that to kids.
It's like, they might, some of them, like 1, 2 might get the results, but
at what cost also?
I think the cost is way too
but even
much.
For the ones who make it, like, let's forget about the thousands who get broken on the way, right? Because like probably like cases like yours and yours, like there's thousands of people who never made it, who are like I don't know which situation they are, because at least you have something to hold up, right? But then like at what cost? Like is it worth it to win 10 slams if you're fucking miserable? Like,
well, I wasn't even close to winning slams or whatever. I haven't won a tour event, but I will still say that it was not worth it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my opinion at the moment. If you ask me if I will do it again, knowing that this will come, I will not do it.
Yeah.
That's like my honest response.
Well, the good thing is you're 24 still.
26.
26.
20. Sorry, I'm a disaster with numbers.
It's
Well,
okay.
still a baby.
It's still a baby.
Yeah.
So you still have like time to figure out things in life.
Exactly, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is at the end the good.
At least I'm more fine with the idea that even if it's not tennis, then it's something else.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to accept this. So it takes some time.
For sure.
Do you have some regrets about your career?
I mean, I do. I think the biggest is that I lost the game. Like it wasn't a game anymore, and that's what it's about. It's just supposed to be. In the end, it's just hitting I would say like Sinner's approach for this whole thing is like something that I never understood. Like I could not see it this way, but it's so healthy. Like it sounds so healthy. So you know, I lost the game that my like a 6-year-old me was playing just just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So I will say that's the biggest thing.
Everyone says the same. Like we had like already like 35 players, multiple Grand Slam winners, number ones. Everyone at the end we ask like what advice would you give to your younger self? It's like I wish I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
You know, it's like crazy. Nobody says, "Oh, I wish I would have won more." Like everyone is like, "I wish I would have enjoyed more."
But I mean, it's so difficult at the moment. Like at that moment, you have the big team. You have like 3, 4, 5. Some people even like 8 people are
Depending
on you. So what are you gonna do? Just say that no, it's just a game. It doesn't matter. It's not easy to see it that way.
Yeah, unless you're Alcaraz or Sinner. Maybe it's also easier for them like to find.
Yeah, but I mean, Alcaraz has spoken about it quite loudly now.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Yeah.
And people are criticizing him even though he's winning. So the day he will stop winning, maybe like they will kill him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but at least he's found. I mean, he's so young and he has already realized this, so I think that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's scary how many there are now. So it's now Sverre was talking about that's he was saying that he kind of no, it was popular in that I saw an interview. He said he just felt like numb, that it didn't matter, and that's a very scary sign for me because that's how I felt like exactly 1 year ago. I went on court, it did not matter like at all. So I was in Washington. I was a match point down against Cottage, and it was second serve, and I was thinking about if I should just double fold till I get out. And even that match, I won somehow in the end. And after a match, it was like it didn't matter at all. So now I see some of these sentences that the players are. So it just brings like a
you can see patterns of
So that's where I get this fire inside that I will, if it's possible, I would like to help them just to avoid going too far, because then it's very difficult to come back from if it goes too far.
Yeah, there needs to be more awareness like on the teams, like so like in case someone can spot some stuff instead of putting more fire into the let's go play next week. No, maybe just take 2 months break and figure things out, and get healthy again.
Yeah, but then you're like, what about the ranking?
Exactly.
It's like, but my ranking is gonna get down.
I don't earn any money.
And also a lot of people are there for the wrong reasons. Because fame, money are addictive, so it attracts also like wrong type of people next to you who are just there for the short term benefit. Yeah.
But I don't know. What's your opinion? What could the ATP, WTA do more? Because for me, I mean, they have a psychologist in some of the tournaments, but I talked about this with one guy, and he like, there's no chance that if like, let's say 2 years ago that I will have walked into the office and talk about these things. Like it's, first of all, it's like in a slam, do you want to walk into a psychologist office and show everybody that you're going there? Probably not. I just don't know. I don't think. Well, the calendar is another thing, but I don't know if we want to go there.
So me, I do see a psychologist, and it started with she works for the WTA.
Okay, so well, that's good.
But at the beginning, it was like I went because it was mandatory in your things to do. So that's how like every year like we have to like couple of stations and we have to go see someone.
Okay.
And it started with me being like zero honest, obviously.
Yeah.
Zero honest. But I don't know, I had injury, so we were treating the injury, and then question by question, we were like going a bit around, and it was for me also, for some reason, a place where I could talk.
Mm.
And at the beginning, we were very far from my problem. On the moment, I was always seeing that it was helping me. That right after and the day after, I was better.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was stopping to do it for 2-3 weeks until it was probably too late.
Yeah.
And then again, it was helping me, but it was tough for me to commit to do every week.
Yeah. But no, but that's the same thing still for me.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing for that is because you need to go outside your like comfort zone. You know that you need to go somewhere that is a little bit painful. So that's, even now that I do it one or two times a week, it's like you feel a little bit like it's not comfortable to go there.
It's not natural at the end.
No.
To go and open up like a book is not.
It's very, very
and
difficult.
sometimes the question they ask, like, it makes you like go deep and go back in sometime in painful moment, and you're like, what did really hurt you? And it's like, it's painful. Most of the time after the session, you're like empty, you're like tired, ready to go to bed.
No, now like I'm doing this new therapy thing, like I'm completely done. Like there's no chance that I could even consider like practicing or whatever. It's like takes so much effort and energy out of you. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough moment, and hoping that it will help and make you learn from it. But I don't know, I think it's tough because, like you say, in tournament is probably not the most of the time the place for it. But at the end, if you play every single week, you need to find a moment. The tournament is, the schedule is tough because you play too much and you don't have enough time to balance and work on the fact to have hobbies and everything. On the ETP, when you're young and you arrive, they give you like some course to do, like some lessons or whatever.
I mean, there is one, but
it's useless.
You click skip, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, they should help you to as a person also.
Yeah,
but maybe it's more like, of course they can do stuff, but probably it's more like on the academy stage, on those teenage years where they need to like explain you like, hey, if you feel bad, like it's okay to say it. It's okay to look for help, instead of like making you feel bad if one day you want to practice, instead of criticizing you for it, like to, like, because at 20 doesn't matter, like maybe it's too late already, like, because maybe the help is already there, but as you say, you feel like, oh, I'm going to be weak if I go there, right? Because, and at the end you feel that because that's what you've been kind of told, like,
but also like being at the top of some sport, it's so competitive. Like you don't want to show any kind of weakness because it's.
I think in the women's it's different. Like since Iga, because at the end, Iga started traveling with psychologists. Osaka was very open, about like her mental health.
I think the fact, like, for some reason, women, you are more used to see them cry. So, and sometimes it's like maybe more normal to cry, like already after a match or everything, like, of something like that. So sometimes when a girl is crying, you don't really know why, but you assume it's just because she's sad because she lost. Men's, like, I cannot say I saw any men's cry in the gym. in a slab.
Well, I had those, but
you hide.
I went to the toilet or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was quite a few times that I just like cracked. Because it was so, I just felt so much pain inside that I couldn't
go out
hold it. One thing that it didn't affect me, but like who was it? It was somebody asked me, like, did the ATP or whoever contact you when you started the break? And no. So if I had my support team back home, but let's say I didn't have it, it is kind of scary, because if you are kind of like alone in life, then you stop. Of course, then I got the protected, and that's as an answer to the email. They were, somebody asked if you're whatever, okay, but other than that, nothing, zero.
Yeah, it's sad.
So it just kind of tells you how much they care about you. Like,
It's depends a lot of the person who works in the organization, and obviously there is not always good person. You have to be sometimes a bit lucky with like who you meet on your way.
Yeah.
And who helps you and who like care about you as a person, like not as a player, like but as a person.
Exactly.
Yeah. And sometimes now it's like it's becoming kind of cool, no? Like all this mental health awareness. So it feels like there's visibility, but no, it's just like fake kind of, no? They will just give you a platform like to get some likes or whatever. And then like next to the whatever is next.
Yeah, it's like, well, the same thing. ATP is like they're posting this, like reposting all this if a player is talking about it, but then what are they actually doing?
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy because also like at the end, how many people are willing, as you said at the beginning, open to talk about it, no? Because the help was there, but you were the one, like the first one who said like, I went there and pretend everything was okay, right? So it's like, it's hard to say like, is the chicken or the egg, no? That comes first, and maybe I think the job has to be kind of done earlier, no? Also like on the developing stages of the person, like if you give them the tools to like understand, to feel okay if you're not doing okay and say it, probably it's easier to get out.
Yeah.
Once you're like 24 to learn that stuff. Yeah. It's
hopefully little by little.
Hopefully your app is on tour soon.
That's the goal.
Nice.
But I feel like the older generation, or like the generation before, when they were a kid and teenager, they were doing less like full tennis. And now the generation, I don't know if it's like hours or more or less the same. It's like full tennis since like you're 10.
Yeah.
So hopefully the next one is going to go back as how it was before.
Yeah.
Well, you have good examples now, no? Like Alcaraz, Sinner saying like, I take 3 months ban because of whatever, I can go skiing and have a good time, you know, like exactly. It's setting a good example also.
It is. It is. But it takes a Sinner to be able to do that, because for many others, not so
academies are like the ones who have to like take a new mindset probably, you know, and start finding more that balance. Yeah. Okay, our kids will not go through the professional sports path, yeah?
No, they will do some tennis.
They will have to work for 50 years.
Football, judo, dance, music.
Me, I
a bit of everything and nothing.
I played tennis every day of my life, you know, and maybe it was because I was sucking at it also. But every time I went to my parents, I want to be like, pro tennis or pro football or whatever. They were like, no, dude, like have fun. But like, you know, like we're never gonna take you. I was begging for them to take me to the like Barcelona football team like test. And I remember I was kind of good at football. Like I would have never made it, you know. But as a kid, my dad was like over my dead body, you know. You play on the weekends, you have a good time, but then you go to school and like every time, like now that I see the inside, you know, I was like, thanks God, like that they really like took that conservative path, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not that my life is full of roses.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has their own challenges, but
I mean,
that lack of balance, it's not easy to learn how to handle it well.
No, but it's tricky because of course, like I said, I will not do it again. But of course, there has been so much that tennis has given me.
Yeah,
all the opportunities. Even if I will stop today, of course, it will affect my life in a very positive way that I did it. But yeah, everything in life, it's always the.
For me, I was always telling Caro, like, I hate tennis. Like, no, you don't hate tennis. You hate something that maybe tennis brought you, or like someone, or the person who brought you to tennis. But poor tennis is like a soulless thing, you know, like you cannot hate tennis. It's something else.
Yeah, you need takes time. Takes time.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And there is no bad timing to heal about a trauma or a past. It's like whatever it takes.
It's gonna take, yeah, that's something I realized now only like a few weeks ago, that okay, it's gonna take time. Like it's seriously gonna take time, because after almost a year now you start getting somewhere. So
you have time. So.
Yeah. But of course,
one
you
step
hope
at a time.
There is the hope inside that they will like kind of switch. Like you decide to take the break, and you will like you have this feeling of hopefully it's like over when you go back. But that's hopefully for somebody it is like that, but for many probably not.
One day at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that's how need to take it, because even still today, like some days are really horrible. Some days are okay. Not too many days are actually like great. So it's like it's affected a lot in life overall.
We wish you all the best.
Yes.
Same for you.
Thanks for your honesty.
Yeah.
Good luck, and just have patience and keep pushing. You're a strong man.
Yes.
Also, like that's one of the good things athletes you have, that you're at the end you're tough. So it's using that strength now in the right direction to
I think
go out of this.
We know how much it takes. So we have when we find something that we want to do, for sure we are able to do enough.
No, and when you start already to work on it and ask yourself the painful questions, that means you're ready to. You want to commit to get better and find a solution. So it's the first step in the good direction.
It is. Yeah. No, realizing it is the most important step probably. But that's I've been talking to many athletes, many just people about this, and it's just always remind them that that's the first step, and then the next one is just, realize it, then you accept it. If you are kind of like escaping and denying it, that's where it gets worse, and then you can start asking why it's happening, and then you do this in every single bad moment in your day, and then slowly you start seeing results. But those are kind of the steps that I've been following, and it's already, it helps, but there's still a long way.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. No, thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next episodes. And it will mean the world to me if you can share this episode with someone you think will enjoy it. Thank you, and see you soon!